Okay, so this is the iQOO Z11 Lite and it comes at a really strange time for the budget smartphone segment. That segment has become a bit of a mess. Phones are getting more expensive, brands are making more questionable compromises, and specs just don't justify the asking price, even by today's standards. Which means figuring out whether a phone is actually worth your money isn't as easy as it used to be. And this is exactly why I wanted to check out the new iQOO Z11 Lite. But before we get into the phone itself, drop a like if you enjoyed this video and don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's talk about the design, because this is where iQOO absolutely nailed it. I have the Solar Flame version here, and this is easily my favorite looking budget phone this year. It almost looks like a slab of polished marble and way more expensive than it actually is. And because it has a matte finish, fingerprints are barely an issue. I also like the camera module. There's no massive camera island, just the lenses sticking out a little. It looks clean and minimal. You also get this dynamic light around the cameras for notifications, and honestly, I quite like it. Now, yes, the phone's basically all plastic frames, plastic back, but it doesn't feel cheap. The buttons are tactile and clicky, the side-mounted fingerprint scanner is nice and quick, and you still get a headphone jack. The SIM tray on the left also supports microSD cards up to 2 TB. Oddly though, the speaker grill sits on the top edge. For durability, you get an IP65 rating, and iQOO also claims military standard certification. At around 212 grams, you definitely feel the weight. But because it's so well balanced, it never feels bulky. What's not so impressive though is the front. The bezels are pretty thick all around, especially that bottom chin. But what really annoys me is the water drop notch. It just feels ancient in 2026. Coming to the display itself, it is a 6.74-inch LCD, and this is where you'll constantly be reminded that this is a budget phone. And I'm not just talking about that chin. This is an HD Plus panel. Yup, that's 720p in 2026, and you notice it immediately. Sharpness just isn't there, but at least it's a 120Hz panel. The UI feels smooth, but in most apps, you're locked at 60 Hz, not even 90. For protection, you get AGC Dragon Trail Pro. We've seen it on a bunch of nothing phones, and while it gets the job done, it still isn't as scratch resistant as Gorilla Glass. Brightness, thankfully, isn't an issue. With a peak brightness of 1200 nits, outdoor visibility is actually pretty good. But the real headline feature here is the battery. The Z11 Lite packs a massive 6500 mAh battery. Now, huge batteries aren't exactly rare anymore, especially in this segment, but that doesn't make them any less useful. During my testing, the phone comfortably lasted an entire day with plenty left in the tank. I was scrolling through social media, streaming music, taking photos, and never really had to think about charging. So, if you're a lighter user, I can easily see this lasting close to 2 days. For charging, you get a 44-watt charger in the box. I'll have proper charging numbers in the full review, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Powering the phone is the MediaTek Dimensity 6300. For storage, you get a 6GB plus 128GB and 6GB plus 256GB, but the starting variant is a 4GB plus 128GB. This is a very disturbing trend that needs to stop. Now, you're obviously not buying the phone for the benchmark numbers. I've been using the 6GB plus 256GB model, and it handles everyday tasks without any real issues. Apps open fairly quickly, switching between Chrome, WhatsApp, and social media apps feels smooth. However, I cannot say that the 4GB variant will give you the same experience. So, word of advice, avoid the 4GB variant. Now, if you're into heavy gaming, this phone isn't for you. But for casual gaming, it does the job just fine. On the software side, it runs an Origin OS 6 based on Android 16, and honestly, I still think it's one of the better Android skins out there. Yes, there's some bloatware, but almost all of it can be uninstalled. You also get Google's Gemini along with a bunch of AI features for writing, productivity, and translations, which should be genuinely useful if you're a student. iQOO is promising 2 major Android updates and 4 years of security patches, but only for the two 6GB variants. There's no word about the 4GB model's update policy, which is yet another reason to avoid it. Finally, let's talk about the cameras. You get a 50 megapixel main sensor along with a depth sensor. So essentially, just one camera at the back. But so far, it's left a pretty good first impression. In daylight, photos come out clean with plenty of detail and the colors are vibrant without looking over-processed. Portrait mode does miss the edges every now and then, but most of the time, it delivers a clean, social media-ready shot. Low light performance is decent for the price. I did notice some light bleeding in a few images, but overall, it's a reliable camera for a phone in this price range. The selfie camera though is where things fall apart. It's just a 5 megapixel sensor and it performs exactly how you'd expect. It's fine for video calls and meetings, but I wouldn't use it for much else. Video recording is another disappointment. Both the front and rear cameras are capped at 1080p at 30 fps, even though the Dimensity 6300 is capable of 4K recording. We'll be putting the cameras through a much more detailed test in a full review. So, those are my first impressions for the iQOO Z11 Lite. I genuinely think iQOO has gotten a lot of the basics right. The design is easily one of my favorites in the segment, the battery life looks extremely promising, and the day-to-day software experience has been really solid. That said, there are some compromises I just can't ignore. The HD Plus display, the dated waterdrop notch, the 5 megapixel selfie camera, and especially that 4GB base variant. As for the price, well, we don't exactly know about that as of recording this video, but given the specs and the other recent launches, we're expecting it to be about 20,000. But by the time this video goes live, the official pricing will be out. So we will pin it in the comments or put it up here somewhere. Let me know in the comments what do you make of the iQOO Z11 Lite, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.